Let me ask you something. Have you ever thought about investing in the stock market? Or have you ever felt like it's overwhelming, but immediately you say, that's not for me? Maybe it felt so complicated. Maybe you feel it's too risky, or maybe you don't even know where to start from. And so you just didn't bother to even look into it. I know how that feels, right? But the truth is that a lot of people want to invest, but they stay stuck on the sidelines because I know what it feels like to be in that space. I've met a lot of people who are confused about investing and how investment works. And over time, this hesitation, however, has cost them more than they realize. And that's the reality because each time your money is not growing, it is costing you something. Life is full of cost and effect. So, in today's conversation, we're going to simplify all of that. With my guest today, we're going to talk about how beginners can consistently invest in a small way. More importantly, how you can build wealth over time and not just chase quick wins. You need that stability, you need that guidance. And even more interestingly, how your investments can actually start generating income for you. I have a special guest today, and she's been a colleague of mine, and we've known each other for years now. So I'm going to introduce my special guest today. But this is the Entrepreneur Series. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is where real conversations with people who are building real businesses out there, showcasing what they are doing and helping people learn how to create wealth. That's our goal, right? How to create wealth, right? So today I'm joined with someone who is doing exactly what we are talking about. Her name is Sifawu Usikalu. She helps immigrant beginners, right? And every Canadian who wants to understand the stock market in a way that actually makes sense to them and helps them start investing with confidence. She also teaches people how to generate income from stocks they already own. That's very fantastic. Like I'm blown away every time Sifao gives me ideas around these issues, right? Which is something most people don't even realize is possible. Sifao, welcome. I'm glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Welcome, everyone.
I want to start with your story, Sifao, because everybody has a story and everybody is starting from somewhere. So, how did you get into investing and what made you decide to start teaching others?
Thank you for the question. And like you said, my name is Sifawu, and back home, I'll start from when I was very young. When I was very young, at the age of 12, that was the first time I read the book about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the richest man in Babylon. And thanks to my dad. So, right from there, I knew there's this ability for somebody to be rich. In the same word, we have people that are wealthy. It's all number one, the knowledge you have and how you put your money to use. Fast forward to when I started working in the financial industry and I worked in the treasury department. And I was fortunate to also manage as I was one of the wealth managers, and I managed the wealthy, right? And you see the way they make their money work for them. So coming into Canada in 2020, I came in and I wanted to continue that journey. So what did I do? I went into the insurance industry. I got my insurance broker. I became a licensed insurance broker. And while I was doing that, I noticed every time I had to talk with a client, because the insurance, most times I do universal life, which means it's included in investment. And I noticed the gap between what people understand about investing. You see that the knowledge is not there. When you start talking about investing, you have a lot of questions. Okay, how do my money grow? Do you think I can do this and the likes? And that was what really made me to diversify to say, okay, I want to focus more on teaching the African community or anyone that is willing to know how their money can grow for them, how to make your money work in the stock market. And that was why I focused on teaching investing, because looking at a lot of people everybody wants their money to multiply. If I could tell you that your money can work for you, no holiday, no vacation throughout the year, will you not want your money? But the problem is how. So the how is where I come in. How do you make that money work for you? And
Wow.
that's it. And I started my journey. So when I came into Canada, my story is I started my journey. I came in during the thick of COVID, which means everywhere was shut down. I didn't get a job for like 4 months. And my income, all the money we came in was already draining off. So when so I could remember that day. We started living in an apartment when we came to Canada. All this apartment, I have a lot of blocks.
Hmm.
Just in my mind, I'm like, I just wish I should have one of these flats and just put a tenant there. And
Hmm.
lo and behold, my curious mind, I went to check how much to buy a house in Canada, and I saw the figure. I said, "What? I'm not ready. I don't have this kind of money." So I don't even have a credit score then, everything. So, but I remember I sat on my system that day and I was just scrolling through the internet, and I saw a lady teaching about how you can own real estate in the stock market. I'm like, is that possible? I said,
Uh-huh.
let me try with $50. And I tried. And 3 weeks after I got my dividend, I'm like, oh,
Wow.
so you could
Wow.
achieve this same dream of owning a house without owning a physical property. And that was how my journey started in the investment in the stock market.
Wow, I think that's powerful because a lot of people are curious, but they never make that move. But you made that move, you know. But why do you think so many people hesitate when it comes to investing?
Yes, so a lot of people hesitate because I feel number one, aside from lack of knowledge, but I think most people we don't want to discuss money. We just feel money is too complicated. Like in your mind, I know a lot of us will make money, but if we really ask, do you make money? Most people, they only know one way to make money, which is I go to my 9 to 5, I go for my employment, I make money that way. Whereas there are several ways. So we don't want to discuss money. We just feel money is complicated. That's my main, I think that's the main reason most people don't want to invest, aside from the lack of knowledge. Now, a lot of people don't also understand the market. It's easy for you to see the stock market chart and it's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people that the job you do right now, so let's say you're a business analyst, when you wanted to start, that job was also complicated, but you learned it. So if you put that same mind, if you take that same mind to the stock market to say, I want to learn this, you will discover that it's even easier. Because I keep saying, I don't know if I can become a doctor because I feel I don't know if my brain can take it, but now, I now look at being a doctor and looking at your money, looking at the financial statement and the likes. I think it's still easier for me. Maybe because that's my background, but I just feel people we don't want to learn. And if you don't learn, what you don't learn, you feel is just out there.
Yeah.
Until you begin to learn it, that is when you understand that, oh, this is very easy for me
Mm.
to do. So that is one thing that why most people don't want to invest, and the fear of losing money.
Mm.
Of course, I work hard to make my money. I don't want to lose it. But if you look at it the other way, if you put your money in a savings account, you're actually losing it
Mm.
because you're losing it to inflation. And
Yeah.
that is one thing that most people don't know. You're losing it to inflation. So, and another thing is we have the fear of losing money, but you see people, you can give somebody your money to manage for you. You can give somebody your somebody your money to manage for you. So what is the tendency that that person will not lose your money? Is
Mm.
it not rather good that the money gets lost in my hand? I get to learn, okay, this is what I did wrong. I will not do that in my next step, right?
Mhm.
So, yes, so you don't have to be scared of losing money. This life is a risk, but I tell people if you do the right investment, you have patience, the market will reward you.
I
That's it.
like the word patience because that's what a lot of people lack, you
Yeah.
know. But so if someone is watching this today, you know, or they come across this video and has never ever invested before, what's the first step they need to take?
Okay. I know a lot of people will tell you go and open a brokerage account. For me, your first step is knowledge.
Oh.
Knowledge is what sets you apart. If you have the right knowledge, you know the right brokerage accounts to open. You know the right stocks to choose. So when you have that knowledge, just get the knowledge. And knowledge is easy to get nowadays. So once you have the knowledge, then I can now tell you the next thing is take away fear from it. Just start. Start. And how do you start? You open your brokerage account, you choose the type of account you want to use to invest, you put in your money, you buy your first stock, you buy your first ETF, you develop patience and consistency. Another thing that most people lack is consistency. There's a difference between, oh, I have this $1,000, let me put it in the stock market at once, and somebody that has $100 and is putting that $100 every month. There will be difference in those two, because the person that puts $1,000 and go to sleep, you never know what can happen. But you that you're consistent with that $100, as soon as you see the growth, because you're consistent, you're monitoring your growth. You're not just leaving your money there. So you need to be consistent as well, and start with whatever amount you have. I used to say that the stock market has now become, technology has helped the stock market in such a way that if I have $1 today, I can invest with $1. I don't need that thousands to start. If I want to buy a stock that costs maybe $200 and I can only afford $1, I'll keep putting that $1. Consistency. Every time I have the $1, I put it. Before you know it, you've bought that one stock, because you can buy piece of those stock until, and whatever happens in the market, if there's growth in the market, your $1 will grow as well. So that's it.
So that's like first gaining knowledge, then the next thing is taking action, right? And this is exactly why we're having this conversation, because we want people to at least be aware that they can grow their money. But Sifawu, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see beginners make, early in this whole investing strategy and going into the stock market and all of this?
Okay. So one of the biggest mistake I've seen beginners make is you think you can get rich quick in the stock market. It is not a get rich quick scheme. Like, you have to be patient. Like I said, patience, the market will reward your patience, right? So when you're investing, have it at the back of your mind that I'm buying this stock, I'm holding it for the future. The future might be tomorrow, the future might be 10 years, right? But don't have it that, oh, this stock, I want to buy it now, I've heard it's going to make 20% return, and I want to buy it so I can sell it. If you have that at the back of your mind, number one, you're going to lose your money, because it's possible that you buy the stock now and you see it dropping. And at the back of your mind, you're saying, oh, this stock was supposed to do 20%. Because you're seeing it, the price drop, you want to sell it because it is not achieving that aim for you. So that is number one. Have it at the back of your mind that you're not getting rich quick. Patience, the market will reward you. And another thing I see is a lot of people buy stocks because of hype. I was on a call with one of my clients this week, and he opened this portfolio for me. And I asked him, because I saw two stocks, I said, why did you buy this one and this stock? The first thing he said is, I bought this because somebody said it on the internet. I bought this because somebody said it on the internet. And I asked him, I said, did the person tell you the strategy they use to buy this stock? Because every stock has a strategy. I can buy because I want to get income. Another person can buy that same stock because they want to hold it for 50 years. That is their own strategy. But if you buy and you don't understand the strategy, you tend to jump out of the market. And I asked him about the second one. Why did you buy this particular one? He said, oh, because of the US-Iran war. I heard that stock oil price would go up. And I asked him as well, I said, the person that told you to buy this, did he tell you when he will be leaving the markets? Because the war will not be forever. So at some point, people will exit that market. And if you don't know that point when to exit, that means you're going to lose your money in the market. And it was like, I said, you don't buy because of hype. It's good that a lot of stocks, people mention a lot of stocks in the internet, is good. But when you have the knowledge, if you hear that stock, the next thing you're doing is you're doing your own research. Is it a good buy for me? Does it fit my goal? Does it fit my risk profile before I want to go in to buy that kind of stock? So if we're able to take away hype and take away, I want to get rich quick, you're good in the market.
So a lot of people use hype. They get a lot of information online and they think short term also, and they don't have a strategy. That's quite interesting, right? But what about those who want to build long-term wealth using stock market? I know not everybody wants to invest through stock. There are people who wants to buy real estate because it's real. They just want to focus on real estate. That's one strategy to create wealth. But what's the right mindset, right? If I want to build wealth using stock market.
Okay. So if you want to build wealth using stock market, like as earlier mentioned, you will need that patience. You need to have your patience and always have your investment goals. You need to have a goal. I tell people that for every stock I have in my portfolio, there's a goal for it. So if I have a goal to hold a stock for maybe 2 years, so why am I bothering opening my app today to look at the stock? My goal is 2 years, right? So just like you develop your financial goals, your new year goals, you write your investment goals as well. That is what will keep you in the market. It helps you to, like when you do your investment, your normal life goal. I want to go to gym every day. It keeps you in check, right? The same thing as when you have your investment goal. It keeps you in check to say, oh, this stock, I'm holding it for 3 years. So I don't need to panic now because the market is crashing. I still have about 2 years ahead of me, right? So you need that investment goals. You need the right mindset. Investing is mindset, right? Investing in mindset in the sense that number one, you're not there to I want to get rich quick, right? You have your strategy in place. You have when you're buying, you know what you're buying, you understand the company. You understand the company. Before you buy a stock, you need to understand that company. I tell people, I say stock market is like where the companies go to display their resume. Right? When you have a vacancy somewhere, everybody submits their resume and they start picking. Stock market is where the company go to display their resume to say, oh, the last 5 years, I've done this. The last 10 years, I've done this. This is why I want you to invest in me. And if somebody has given you their resume, and you as an HR manager, in this case, you are the investor, you're not looking at the resume, you're just calling the person. That means you pick the person that is less fit for the job. So that is why when you go to the stock market, you look at what does this company fit my risk profile? Does it fit my goal? Does it fit my wealth strategy? I'm building wealth. Does it fit my wealth strategy? If you're able to do all this, you'll be fine. And you stay consistent, you'll be fine.
That's quite interesting too. But you need to add information, right? You have to be current also with
yes, the news and the market.
All right. All right. But can you explain how investors can actually generate income from their stocks, especially using covered calls?
Okay. So
What is
that's
covered calls? Because somebody out there might be wondering what is covered calls.
So yeah, that's a very interesting question because I get a lot of it nowadays. So covered calls basically is a trading strategy, but I call it a safe haven trading strategy in the sense that traders, what are they doing? We're buying, like traders will buy and sell, buy up to for the price to increase and sell. That is what traders do. But we as investors, what do? We buy, we tend to hold for the long term. Like I said, long term for you can be tomorrow, it can be next year, right? Now, when you're using the covered call, what you're basically doing is the stock you already have in your portfolio. The stock you already have in your portfolio that right now, everybody, most investors, they know 2 ways to generate income from the market, right? Dividends, if it's dividend paying stock, and capital appreciation. That's the 2 ways that most of them know. But this is a third way for you to generate income. Now, what do? When you get those stock, you have it in your portfolio. Now, when you're buying the stock, remember, we're not buying as traders, we're buying to hold, right? So at the back of our mind, we don't want to sell now, but we can use that same stock to generate cash flow. So all we're trying to do with covered call is to generate cash flow, either every week or every month. Now, cash flow is income you get every week. I like to break down my words. It's income you get every week. So basically, what you're doing is the same stock you already have in your portfolio, you're going to be putting it up for sale at a higher price. Either you're doing weekly or monthly, you're going to be putting it up for sale at a higher price. Now, somebody on the other end will pay you a fee to hold that price for the maturity dates. That fee is what we're looking out for. We're not intending to sell, but the fee we get every month or every week is what becomes the cash flow. That is the income we're trying to generate. So when you put it up for sale at a higher price, somebody pays you a fee to hold it. Now, there are a lot of things that can happen between the day you put it up for sale and the date it's the maturity date. But
Yeah.
I tell you that if you plan your strategy well, you have your stock, you will generate your income every week or every month, and you keep repeating it like every week or every month the same way, just the same stock. You're repeating it, just generating that income because we don't have the intention to sell. And if paraventure something happens and you have to sell, remember we're selling at a higher price, right? Which means we still, any way I see it as a gain in any scenario that happens. I see it as a gain to you.
That's quite interesting. I know some people out there will be wondering, "Ah, what did I just hear? I'm not able to really understand this." But I know where you are. Even when I started with all of this, it sounded very strange to me. But before we wrap up, for those of you listening to us this morning, or for those of you who will come across this video, I want you to know that Sifawu is offering a discount for those who are listening to us today and for those who are part of our community who are watching this video. She's going to give you the beginner's guide where you can start. You don't, the first step is starting, right? Like Sifawu said, the first step is actually knowledge. After knowledge, then you start from where you are and from what you have. So if you're listening to us today and you want to get in touch with Sifawu and start your journey on this wealth making strategy, on this route to making wealth, there's a code you would use when you reach out to Sifawu. It's just the word TEN, 10, like
Then
10. You're right. Because the title of our podcast is the Entrepreneur Network. So TEN. So when you reach out to Sifawu, just tell her you are from the TEN network, right? And you're going to get a discount on your beginner's guide. But before we wrap up, Sifawu, if someone wants to learn from you or follow your work or even join your community, where can they find you?
okay, so currently I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. Yeah, so on Instagram, my name is Immigrants Money Besties.
Okay.
And on TikTok, my name is Money with Sifawu. Money with Sifi.
Okay.
Money with Sifi on TikTok. And on YouTube, my name is just Sifawu Usikalu. Just my first name and last name. So
Interesting. So please look out. In short, if you put Sifawu's name on Google, it will
yes,
bring out all her details. So
yes.
that's like the fastest way. So look out for her name. Reach out to her and say you got this connection through project TEN. Don't forget the word is 10, number 10, but in you know,
What?
so yeah, in words. Yeah, in words. So you will reach out to Sifawu and say you are from the 10 community, and definitely you will get a discount from Sifawu. Sifawu, I truly appreciate this conversation. Do you have any last words you want to share with people or any questions you want to ask?
Um, Really, I don't have questions. Well, I have a question.
Okay.
So if you've not started investing, what is holding you back? Because you do not have excuse. Knowledge is not an excuse. I don't have enough to start is not an excuse, because you can start with $1 with, I don't want to lose money in the market is not an excuse as well, because there are a lot of people in that same market and they're not losing money.
Mm.
So you want to be on the winning side. So that's my question to you if you've not started. And if you have started and your money is just sitting there, you're only getting dividend and capital appreciation. Why don't you want to generate more income with
Mm.
that same stock you already have? That
Wow.
is my question to you.
That's the
Ah,
part I love most, Sifawu. The fact that your
whoa, it's
stock
sweet.
can generate regular income, monthly, weekly, depending on your risk
Strategy.
tolerance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, um, today's session has made, in short, Sifawa has made you feel a lot easy. It has made it feel a lot easy for you to consider, investing. I see some questions in the chat, but these questions, if you reach out to Sifao, you can ask her directly. I see a lot of people putting questions in the chat, and this is quite interesting, interesting questions. But if this helped you and you just feel a bit ready to learn more, share this podcast with someone who has been thinking about investing but has not yet started. Because sometimes one conversation like this is what gets someone moving. And that's what we need right now. So, um, if you want more conversations like this, make sure you follow the Entrepreneur series, and we'll see you in our next episode. Thank you so much, Sifal, for having us. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And I'm really excited to see you in our next episode.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, everyone.